Before diving into today's master study, I always like to warm up. It gets my hand moving and my eyes focused. Here I just hold a pencil in the overhand grip and do a series of pencil strokes in different directions just to get fluidity and prepare myself and be ready for my upcoming drawing. Today I'm studying Anthony van Dyck, observing his painting Lucas van Uffel closely and doing my own pencil drawing master study to learn from his incredible ability and his mastery of form and expression. I was inspired to do this study after seeing his work up close during my trip to Vienna last year. There's nothing quite like seeing the details of these master artists in person. Whenever I've seen Anthony van Dyck's work, I've always been quite fascinated by it. He was a Flemish master of elegance and emotion, known for his beautifully composed portraits. After seeing his paintings up close in Vienna, I was struck by his use of light and the expressive way he captured his subjects. It inspired me to do this master study in my small A5 sketchbook. Now, this master study is over a double-page spread, but only slightly. The scale is probably a little bit too small. Ideally, if I was to do this A4 size, I probably would have got a little bit more accuracy and been able to put in quite a bit more detail. But there's something about this painting that stood out to me. I love how the figure's face is clearly the focal point and really stands out. Very stark contrast to the background. This study is not just to copy his work, but to learn through observation and see what I can bring into my own art. This is part of my ongoing Sketchbook Session series where I explore different styles and techniques. As I start this study, I'm focusing on his use of form and how he builds volume with subtle shading. I'm observing the way he captures light. It's delicate yet dramatic, giving a sense of depth and emotion. And as you can see, even in the early stages of the study, I'm changing my pencil grip constantly and not only mapping out the main features of the figure, but also starting to block in the shadow areas with some broad sweeping strokes. One challenge is translating Van Dyck's painterly approach into pencil, but it's teaching me to simplify complex forms into essential lines and values. I'm noticing how he balances sharp details with softer transitions, creating a sense of movement and life. Seeing his work in person made me appreciate the textures he created. I'm trying to replicate that with layering and varying pressure on the pencil. But at this stage, I'm still mostly pressing quite lightly. And as always, when I'm doing these master studies, I usually have an image of the painting up on my laptop screen in front of me, and I will constantly look backwards and forwards between my sketchbook and the reference image that I have, and also try to make sure that I get the highest resolution and best quality original version of the image that I can. I always find these master studies to be something really quite enjoyable and relaxing, especially when I'm not entirely sure what it is that I want to draw. Sometimes I will just look for some artist's work online and find something that I like and do one of these pencil studies of them. And the same thing goes with painting as well. Recently I've been doing some oil painting studies to prepare myself for an upcoming oil painting commission. I really like the interesting pose of the hand here. It's quite a complicated one and a good challenge to draw. The values on this coat of the figure are very, very dark in the painting, so it's a case of me going over the pencil drawing quite a few times in order to get as much value down as possible, building it up slowly bit by bit. also trying to follow some of the direction of the fabric, but it's not easy. And it's an interesting painting. I'm not exactly sure the background of it, but the man is, whether that's a hidden on the desk there, you can see there's like a drawing. It looks like a portrait drawing that is on a piece of paper. Probably most people won't notice that straight away. And there seems to be an interesting sculpture of a man's head behind the globe. I imagine that's not a real man. And of course the compass in the hand. What are these symbolic of? It's quite interesting. One thing that I really liked was the texture and the pattern on the fabric on his arm, the bicep and the forearm. I think that was really beautifully painted. I would say that, and the figure's hands, the face, and also some of the texture in the curtain behind, I think are probably my favourite parts of the painting. As I start developing the drawing a bit more, I'm building up upon the value layers that I've already laid down, coming back into the background and putting in some much more broader strokes. Really trying to get the value relationship correct. It's a constant process of going backwards and forwards, but it's a really enjoyable exercise, like I mentioned earlier. It's something that I like to do quite often. As always, doing these kind of master studies reminds me of the importance of slowing down and truly observing. By doing this, I'm learning not just how to draw, but I'm learning not just how to keep my drawing skill level, but also how to see and how to understand an artist's thought process and decision making. Oftentimes when you're doing these master studies, you go into a zone where you're asking yourself questions and you're asking, why did he make these marks there, and what was he doing with these soft edges or these hard edges and the contrast? Where was he leading his eye? What was he thinking? What were his thoughts? And this can help to aid you in your own artworks. As I start to get closer to completing this study, I'm looking a little bit more for the texture in the clothing, going over again with darker values, trying to get as broad and dark strokes as I can with the least amount of layering. I also go over the background and apply some really nice long strokes, going over some of the midground and foreground areas, and just brushing up on a few details in the man's face, head and hair. Now, this wasn't an exact detail master study. It was mainly to get down some of the texture and values. And of course it is in my small sketchbook, as I outlined earlier. But I feel like I've got enough here to call it a finished study and move on to the next one. I could maybe have gone darker on the background, maybe another 1 or 2 layers of tone would have really helped push the contrast off the face and make it pop a little bit more. So this was a quick one today. I hope you enjoyed the sketchbook session. Check out my other master studies and sketchbook videos. I'm exploring all kinds of techniques and inspirations. Also, if you're looking to keep your creative momentum going, I've got a free ebook called Maintain Artistic Flow and Productivity. The link's in the description. Make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell if you want more art videos. Let me know in the comments if you've tried any master studies or which artists you'd like to see next. Thank you all for watching.